When I was 4 years old, I was basically tricked into eating some lady's oatmeal raisin cookies. I was at a school event for some reason with my family, and we were inside the gymnasium. A whole bunch of kids were there, and they were on the basketball court doing whatever it is that they were doing. But I was on the bleachers, having way too much fun to join them. As I was jumping from bench to bench, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. And I stopped what I was doing and I looked up. I saw this middle-aged woman enter the room, and she was holding this big white box, the kind that usually holds treats and goodies of some sort. Man, I got excited. What sugary treat could be in there? Then she yelled out, "I've got refreshments!" I was thinking, dude, first I get to play on the bleachers, and now I get refreshments? Could this day get any better? I didn't even know what the word refreshments even meant, but it must have been good for her to yell like that. I definitely wanted whatever was inside. Everyone on the court started to gather around her. They all started pushing and shoving to be in the front, but eventually they formed a line. It was like 60 people, but there was a problem. This wasn't my school, so even if I were to wait in line to try to get some refreshments, I still might be denied. My biggest worry, however, was the amount of kids that were there. Even if I was allowed to wait in line, there still wouldn't be enough. So I just watched from the bleachers, trying to convince myself that I didn't even want what was in the box. But I did. Then, by hope of all hopes, after all the people had received what was ever in the box and had gone, she walked over to me, and she said this. "Hi there, young man. Would you like a cookie? Go on ahead, take one." As she said this, she opened the box, and inside were 3 glorious chocolate chip cookies. I couldn't believe my luck. They did look a little bit chunky, but I didn't care. I smiled at her and said, "Yes, chocolate chip cookies are my favorite." The lady looked confused, but before she could say anything, I grabbed the biggest looking cookie and took a bite. My first reaction was, "What the heck is this? This isn't chocolate. It tastes terrible." Then the lady corrected me and said, "They're oatmeal raisin cookies." I stopped chewing, my mouth dry, like a raisin. Many thoughts ran through my mind at that moment, but one stood above the rest. I was tricked! I wouldn't have eaten this if I knew that! She just stood there, smiling. I couldn't spit it out. The lady was staring right at me. They tasted like something my mom would enjoy. She knew. She knew it wasn't chocolate, and yet she still gave it to me. "Do you like it?" she asked. I just nodded and was like, "Uh-huh." "You can have another one if you want." I didn't want another one. I didn't even want the one I was holding. So even though every fiber of my being said, "Don't you dare take another cookie," I grabbed one, because I wasn't quite sure what to do. Remembering my manners, I said, "Thank you." But what I wanted to say was, "Ma'am, these are terrible. Please take them back." But I kept my mouth shut. Then she left to go talk to some of the moms. I just stood there like an idiot, not sure what to do with the crap in my mouth or with the giant cookies, one clenched in each small hand. I looked around, trying to come up with some solution of how to get rid of this garbage I was holding. But I couldn't think of anything. Can't throw them on the floor, too noticeable. Can't give them back to the lady, that would be rude. And I definitely can't eat them. That would be gross. Then I remembered the bleachers. I ran up to the top and I looked over the edge. There was a tiny gap between the bench and the wall. Perfect. I spat the crap out of my mouth and I threw the cookies over the edge, if they could even be called that. And as far as I'm concerned, they're still down there. Nah, I'm just kidding. I ended up looking for a trash can and threw them away when the lady wasn't looking. But leaving them behind the bleachers is way funnier. The moral of this story, don't give oatmeal raisin cookies to 4-year-olds. They don't know what to do with them.